On today's episode, I finish the timing belt and get the car back on the road. Alright guys, so as you can see, the car is kind of already back on the road. That intro I shot in the future. So I've already finished the car and it is back on the road, but today you're going to watch me finish up the water pump stuff and the timing belt and get that all buttoned up, and then I get to drive the car. I also do a little bit of some more cleaning in the engine bay before I put the engine back together. The front of the engine was covered in oil, dirt. It was black, all the way black. So I took care of that. That took most of the time to actually do all of this stuff, because I pulled all the timing belt stuff off, and that's kind of easy, really, in the grand scheme of things. But meticulously cleaning every little bit, because I had all that stuff out of the way, that took more time. But yeah, and I also tried out some painting stuff. I painted a few odds and ends here and there, as you'll see as I go along. Also tried painting my valve cover. I'll talk about that after you guys see it. So here's the episode. I am supporting the motor now because I'm going to start the process of taking the motor mounts off, because you got to do that first to be able to get the timing belt off. As you saw there, I had to lower the engine support to pull the mount off. It was kind of wedged in there, and as you can see, it's not looking too good. So now I'm going to move up top. So I started taking off the upper timing belt cover, but you can't get it off without the valve cover coming off. So you got to take the valve cover off first, which is what I'm doing now. Just pulling the screws out, as well as the spark plugs, just loosening those. So I'm just working on the alternator bolts. So you want to take this one out. I believe this one also holds in the water pump, so might as well get it out of the way now. And then we're going to want to take this one out as well. This bolt is to loosen the tension on the belt, I believe, so you can move the alternator and get the belt out of the way. But I also have the AC belt on here as well, so I'm going to work on that. I guess this is the hard way of taking it off, but I took the AC pulley off of the compressor to get the belt off. Now I can get the crank pulley off and keep working on getting all the little bolts off the timing belt cover. So this is the bolt I believe that you can loosen or tighten to change the tension on the AC belt, which runs this way. And then there was a pulley here before, but I took it off. I think I'm going to actually attempt to maybe remove the AC soon. So I moved the dipstick holder because that's in the way, and because there's a bolt right in here And I think that's the last one I need to get off. Keyway. So I took off my engine mount post because a long time ago, I actually stripped the bolts. So I'm gonna go to a junkyard probably and get a new one. So you don't have to do this, but you can get the timing belt and all the stuff on with this still on, but I'm doing it just to replace it. So I'm just working on the 4 screws to get the water pump off now. And word to the wise, make sure that you get the coolant out of the block, because otherwise you're going to have a mess. So I got these parts, the timing belt cover and the bracket that holds the engine mount and dipstick holder. I'm going to clean these up now because holy moly, that's disgusting. Today I got some parts from RHD Performance, some OEM Honda parts. If you need any OEM parts, hit up RHD Performance on their website, or you can talk to Theory on his Instagram for RHD Performance. Ask him what you need, he will get it for you. He moved heaven and earth to get this stuff for me. I got a timing belt, I got my new Honda water pump, and a new tensioner for the timing belt. So I'm gonna get all that stuff on today. So please go to the link in the description for RHD Performance, and they will have a special discount code to be able to get some discounts on some parts. And if you need any OEM Honda stuff, hit them up. A little something different that I ran into is the crank sensor has to come off, or at least it's easier to get the new belt on with the crank sensor out of the way. So one nut and it gets out of the way, and then you can start feeding the timing belt back on. Go ahead and get the timing belt on, and then tighten the tensioner down as pretty much as tight as you can. Then spin the engine around at least 5 or 6 times. And make sure no binding or anything, everything matches up, top dead center. And then you want to go ahead and loosen the tensioner half a turn, and then spin the crank so 3 teeth are clockwise past top dead center, and then tighten the tensioner down to 33 foot-pounds. And then you should be good to go. I spun it a bunch of times after this, the engine, to make sure that everything was in the right order. Everything felt good, the belt felt tight. Put the cover back on. Make sure you put the keyway back in before you put the crank pulley on. And crank pulley goes back on, and then the bolts, and you're good to go. Oh, and don't forget about your alternator belt. That has to go back on, and you need to put tension on it